Craft matters. In small ways, like how a coffee is brewed. And in not so small ways, like how your money is cared for. Which is why for 160 years, UBS has elevated banking to a craft. Tailoring unique strategies that combine human expertise with the latest technologies. All happening across 24 time zones and 12 key financial hubs. With you at the heart of it all. UBS. Advice is our craft.
You're listening to The Globalist, first broadcast on the 25th of December 2025 on Monocle Radio. The Globalist, in association with UBS. Broadcasting from Midori House in London, this is a special holiday edition of The Globalist. I'm Chris Chermak. Coming up on today's program.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay!
Yes, there is a debate about whether Die Hard is really a Christmas film. Fernando Augusto Pacheco and Karen Krzyzanowicz are here to discuss their holiday recommendations and the year that was in film. We'll also be taking a look at the world of theatre from the West End to Broadway and around the world with Matt Wolfe. And then...
It's an Italian maker. It's pretty unusual. I would imagine it's a one-off piece. And it's here.
Well, it's been a year of fabulous Christmas markets here at Monocle. One of our highlights there from Paris. We'll also get some wine recommendations to help you celebrate the holidays and the new year in style. All that right here on The Globalist with me, Chris Chermak. And a very warm welcome to this Christmas Day edition of The Globalist on Monocle Radio. If you are listening to us after or before your own celebrations, or because it's just an average day for you in non-Christian parts of the world, here's wishing you a great day, and we're glad to have you with us. We're going to keep things light and breezy on today's episode, bringing you some holiday cheer, relaxation, and we're going to start with some film recommendations, because what better way to while away the extra time over the holidays than with a movie by the fire, a glass of mulled wine in hand. We'll get to that later in this show. But first of all, I am joined by Monocle Radio's senior correspondent Fernando Augusto Pacheco and by the film critic Karen Krzyzanowicz. Happy holidays to you both.
Happy holidays to you too. This is so great. As you said, what could be better? Fire, mulled wine,
good company.
A few movies. Good company, yeah. Lots of laughs.
Good company, laughs, watching a movie that we all like, which is why I have to start with the holiday movies, because even though we want to talk about our favorite films of the last year, it is Christmas Day, and I'm going to go first on this one because I do want to throw in John Candy. There was a great documentary out about him this year, which I really loved. And one of his movies is one of my favorites of the holidays as well. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, although it is from Thanksgiving. But still, it counts as a holiday.
I think that definitely counts.
I'm flexible here.
Anyway, anytime you're trying to get someplace for food and family, I think that counts.
That counts. Well, Fernando, what about you? What do you watch over the holidays?
As soon as you said holiday film, the first thing that came to my mind was Gremlins. And Gremlins...
I always forget that that's a holiday film,
I
actually.
think Gremlins is fantastic. And you know what? Although I'm tired of all those reboots, remakes, and so on, Gremlins is coming back, and it took years, So I personally am very excited about this project, and I think people should not forget the sequel. I think it didn't do as well in the box office, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, but can I be really honest here? I think it's as good as the first one. And it's funny.
Take
and it's
from
funny.
Fernando.
Yes.
Karen, what do you think of that? Are you going to submit something else?
I'm shocked. Now, every generation has its own Christmas movies. Yeah. It's true. Every
Very
generation.
True.
Everybody will go. And then, of course, you have people like me who say Die Hard. Because it's
start off that
love
debate.
it.
I do love that. I'm on the Die Hard train at Christmas.
And I also love the joke where it's not popular in Germany because we feel sorry for Hans. And Hans Gruber did not want to die.
the Brits love a discussion. Is Die Hard a Christmas film or not? I'm like, yes, it is.
It is.
It's a great film as well.
It is. It is a great film. I do struggle to get my parents to watch it, but I would love to watch it at the holidays.
Well, you know, you can always get your mom to watch it if she does the laundry, because you say, watch his T-shirt go from white to khaki. And there's no in between. It just kind of gets a little grubby, and then, boom, it's perfectly khaki. Just everywhere.
I will try that. But let's move on to some of our favorites from the year. Fernando, I'll start with you because we have a Brazilian film in common, actually. We both saw I'm Still Here, which was one of your favorites of the year.
I mean, it's been a very magical year for Brazilian cinema, you know, because this has been the year where Brazilian cinema, honestly, everybody was talking about. It happened before, we had City of God, but I think now it's kind of a movement, you know. I'm Still Here won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars. Fernando Torres was nominated, you know, and of course Brazilians are very passionate. So even the Oscars team, they were like, oh my God, every time we post a picture with Fernando Torres, there's record of likes and sharing. So they became like national icons. And of course, it's not over, Chris, because The Secret Agent is there, a potential Oscar favorite in some categories as well. A winner in Cannes for Best Director and Best Actor for Wagner Moura. So yeah, it's been a good one. And I do hope this movement continues. I hope it's not just a one-off with 2 films.
Karen, there was another film that we saw in common together, actually, which was Jaws, of all things, 50th anniversary.
I don't think it's a Christmas movie.
Doesn't quite count as a Christmas movie, but there is this theme of old films' anniversaries coming back into cinemas. That's been something this year.
Which is wonderful. And actually, if you spend any time in America, and probably here, I'm usually not here for Christmas, you'll always get in the cinemas the movies that you've seen on television on the big screen, like It's a Wonderful Life, of course, which is a completely different film on the big screen. Because at home, you can kind of ignore it and you think, I'll just wait till he gets to the Clarence part, you know, or I'll wait till he hits the tree with the car.
Film,
and then if you see it in the cinema, it's like completely different. Wow! It's got so much depth. But there are a lot of films that are coming back with anniversaries. I mean, Jaws was a great anniversary, and we saw it in IMAX, which was wonderful. So don't be put off going to see a film that you loved on the big screen again, because chances are, if it's re-released, it will be just as good as it was, and it might actually be better, as Jaws was with me. So there's lots and lots of films coming out, re-releases, actually next year. I probably won't go through all of those, but I would have to say that it's a popular thing to do, and usually it is an anniversary. So we'll stick with the Spielberg. Jewel is coming out January 2026 with a 4K restoration. If you like a daring, low-budget film that's beautifully shot with animal noises over vehicles, you'll definitely enjoy that.
Well,
can I throw a controversy here?
Go for it, Phil.
I only like anniversaries that are older than 20 at least, because I've been seeing like it's been 10 years since this film, then I don't really care. But give me 20, give me 50 even.
50?
That's what I like.
Wow.
50, those are the big anniversaries.
Yes.
Those are the really nice ones. Fernando, you wanted to talk about another favorite theme of this year, which is animation.
Yes, it's interesting, and I think I would share this with Karen as well. Perhaps it's not my favorite genre. You know, I'm not necessarily like an animation fan, but I have to admit, what a year for animation. So at the moment, the biggest hit of the year when it comes to the box office has been Chinese animation, Neza 2 as well. And look at Zootopia too. I mean, Disney has it all. I mean, nobody, I think, was expecting so much money for Zootopia. Again, talking about anniversary, it's been 10 years since the first one. And the Chinese are loving it as well. It's been a very difficult period for Hollywood films in China in recent years, but not with Zootopia. I think there's big love for that film there. And as I said, animation, and not necessarily just from the US. Another example that comes to mind is Demon Slayer. Always a big hit in Japan, but this year it's all over the world. Massive, massive. It's in the top 10 of films of the year with the box office. So yeah, good year for animation.
And
I think, actually, I'm just going to jump in. You might have something with that 50-year anniversary thing. Because there was an executive producer called Ned Tannen. If you Google him, you can find him. But he always said, I'm just going to say this quickly, when you make a movie, it's a movie. If they're talking about it in 10 years' time, it's a film. If they're still talking about it in 50 years, then it's cinema.
Wow.
But you sure as hell can't start out trying to make cinema. So I think you're right.
Love the
anyway,
quote.
Love that.
I
Well,
interrupted you, Chris.
just finally, Karen, if we can talk about one of your trends for the year. I was struck by, ahead of this, you talking about it being the year of the inner male. Is that a Krasanovicism? I was wondering where that came
I
from.
think it might be. I mean, I'm probably the only person that really cares about the inner male at this point. I find it fascinating that films like Eddington, which again wasn't a hit, but if you watch it, it's a marvelous performance by Joaquin Phoenix. The Smashing Machine, which I watched many times because I just think it's a wonderful sports movie, and I think that Dwayne Johnson's got real dramatic chops. And Cover Up, again, which is about a journalist, not particularly like us, but hardcore, not undercover, but a hardcore journalist from the 70s, beautifully made. They're all about sort of men's struggles. And this is something that we kind of have a tendency to overlook. And you can think about Frankenstein. There's actually a lot of men's struggles, actually, many parts. I find this fascinating because there are so many films that tell us about the female condition and the condition of other people, but men are quite secretive sometimes. You're not supposed to cry, right? Maybe you can cry now, but maybe you secretly cry like my great aunt used to do in the shower. So I just think this peek into the inner male and what they really worry about, which these films, I think, really show, is fascinating.
Fernando, do you cry at movies?
I do. Unexpected films, but I do cry a little bit, actually. Unashamedly.
Fernando Augusto Pacheco and Karen Krasanovic, thank you so much for joining us on this Christmas Day special. This is The Globalist.
Craft is a matter of perspective, a unique outlook, an obsessive attention to detail. With UBS's Chief Investment Office Houseview, we're focused on identifying the latest investment opportunities and market risks to help you achieve your financial goals, so you get the big picture broken down into thought-provoking insights. Delivered daily and curated by over 200 globally connected, locally active analysts. UBS. Banking is our craft.
Well, from film and music to the world of theatre, because it has been a big year for plays here in London and elsewhere, and to walk us through some of the highlights is Matt Wolfe, theatre critic of the International New York Times. Matt, great to have you right here in the studio. I've got to say, I'm especially excited because I've really leaned into the theatre this year, probably more than any other year. It's been a good year.
It's been a great year, Chris, and I always think it's wonderful when people share my passion and enthusiasm because, it's one of the reasons to celebrate living in London.
It is absolutely one of the reasons to be here. It's nice, New York, London, but
Yeah,
London
exactly.
is such
London
a
is
fabulous
really-
place. And I wanted to start with a festive one because of the time of year that we're talking. What's your view of A Christmas Carol? Because it is so ubiquitous.
Sure.
It's played everywhere in the world, but of course it especially has a relevance here in London. It's played at the Old Vic. You told me you've seen it 6 times.
Yeah, I mean, A Christmas Carol, of course, Dickens' story of redemption and renewal. It always clutches at the heart. And what better time of year to have that than at Christmas and in Dickens's home country and Dickens's home city. That said, it's done all over the world, as you say, but the production of the Old Vic is very special. It's adapted by Jack Thorne, who did Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and also the television series Adolescence. So he's everywhere at the moment. But this is very much from the heart, and musically it's very sophisticated. It uses an original score by Chris Nightingale that also folds into the soundscape carols done in the most brilliant, shimmering way. You have kind of a forest of flickering lanterns that match the mood of the story. And of course, it's been done every year, including online streaming during the pandemic. It's been done every year since 2017. So there's been an amazing array of Scrooges, starting with Rhys Ifans and Patterson Joseph and Christopher Eccleston and Owen Teale. And this year is Paul Hilton. And each person brings something different to it. Cranky, cadaverous, cantankerous, but by the end full of glow.
It is such a nice performance. I have to say, I've seen one in Washington, D.C. The Ford's Theater, where Lincoln was shot, is always put on a performance for a long time. Charles Wallace has been doing Ebenezer Scrooge there for quite a while. What do you get the sense of the Old Vic? It's relatively new by comparison, 2017, but do they kind of lean into the history of it?
Well, I think Matthew Warchus, who directed it, who has been running the Old Vic, although is stepping down next year. So I would imagine the current version of it is probably the last we'll see, because by this time next year, there'll be a new artistic director there, Rupert Gould. So I think it's a way to kind of marshal all the resources of his home theater and pay homage and affection to his home city. So it's full of goodwill as a production, which makes sense because it's full of goodwill as a piece. It's easy to do Christmas Carol, though, quite kitschy and full of kind of, cheesy sound effects and whatnot. This comes really from the material out, and it's packed with feeling. I mean, if you're not moved by the end of this, Chris, you might as well just give up.
That's what Christmas Carol is all about at the end of the day.
Yes.
So let's move on to some of your other favorites from this entire year. You brought us a few highlights, and I'm going to give you some of my highlights after this as well. But you wanted to start with Festen, based on the Dutch film.
Yeah, this is
your favorite.
This is not the most
Not Dutch, sorry,
cheerful,
Danish.
This is a Danish film by Thomas Vinterberg from 1998, one of the Dogme, D-O-G-M-E films, which was kind of a thing back in the day. It was a huge, big deal European movie. Then it was adapted into a play, and the play was seen in London and then on Broadway. And now it's an opera by Mark Anthony Turnage with a libretto by Lee Hall. Not the cheeriest of topics. It's about
gone from Christmas Carol to slightly less cheery.
I feel a bit Grinch-like bringing this up, except that qualitatively it was so stunning, and the international reach of it is clearly already huge. I mean, it was world premiere in February here at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, but clearly because of the material, I mean, it can be seen anywhere in the world. It's about a businessman whose birthday celebration goes awry when his family and he get enmeshed in accusations of child abuse and whatnot. And I don't want to give too much away, but the apparent good cheer quickly curdles. And what's left is kind of the familial wreckage of the supposed celebration. And it serves, who knew? It ends up serving the Opera House brilliantly well because the emotions of it are so robust and so immediate, and Turnage's score really surges across the auditorium. So I think this is an opera that has now entered the repertoire and that's going to be seen internationally.
So one more we wanted to talk about, because this is a personal favorite I had to get your take on. Shucked was this musical about corn, takes place in Cobb County. Don't even know how to describe it. It's the Regent's Park Open Air Theater. It's also going to be on tour, though, in the U.S., I was seeing, throughout next year. So it's a big one. Started on Broadway, came to London, going back to the U.S., just a wonderful musical for anyone who hasn't seen it.
I completely agree. It's got a very tangy, twangy country and western score by country western veterans Brandy Clark and Shane McAnally, who, like the people behind Maybe Happy Ending, are new to the world of musical theater. We always want new people, not just Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's a farm to fable, as they called it, a story of the American heartland in a place called Cobb County, full of puns. And you laugh and laugh and laugh, and then you just shed a slight tear because the ending of it is very touching and poignant. So it's pure charm.
It is. And just finally, Matt, we do want to end this with the passing of a playwright who is one of the greats, Tom Stoppard, towards the end of this year.
Yes.
What are your reflections on him?
I knew Sir Tom a little bit. I mean, we weren't great friends, but I had occasion to interview him, and he was always polite, kind, gracious. I don't think I've ever interviewed an author with a greater intellect than he possessed, but he never lorded that over you. It was always a conversation amongst equals. And the thing about Tom Stoppard was that nobody wrote more intellectually heady, challenging, brilliant stuff on all sorts of topics, whether it's quantum mechanics or landscape gardening or whatever. But it was always tethered to a story steeped in humanity. So his work appealed to both head and heart in a way that I don't think will be equaled in my lifetime.
That's certainly for sure. But we will bring you back for more of the new playwrights that will be well, regaling us with tales in the new Tom Stoppard of 2026. We look forward to that. Matt Wolf, theatre critic of the International New York Times. Thank you for joining us. This is The Globalist. And now to France, where Monocle held its first Paris Christmas market earlier this month. The event was filled with independent makers and sellers from across the city and beyond. Monocle's Emma Nelson spoke to Brenda Toohey, Monocle's luxury markets editor and co-founder of the jewellery brand Knightsbridge Rocks, to find out more about the brand's offering at Monocle's markets and to admire some sparkling jewels perfect for the festive season.
Now, a Monocle Christmas market wouldn't be a Monocle Christmas market without Brenda Toohey and her glittery sparkles. Good afternoon, glittery, sparkly Brenda Toohey.
Hello, Emma. It's wonderful to be in Paris and to be at Monocle's first Christmas market.
So the Knightsbridge Rocks caravan has rolled into town.
We have horses and all.
And you need a horse. You need a horse to bring all this stuff in. I mean, we're talking some pretty sparkly stuff this season. You've done Zurich before, so this is part 2 of 3. Yes. How's part 2 going?
Part 2 is going very, very well. I mean, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of people here. There are some wonderful stands right beside us, Le Fetiche, and their incredible knitwear, a sort of a Scottish-French melange.
But you're doing yourself a disservice. Talk us through the green gingham table.
Where shall we begin? I think we should begin with Fred Paris. Now, Fred Paris, here we have a beautiful ring from the Force 10 collection from the 1980s. Now, this collection was devised to assist people who had too many fabulous jewels and needed to go on their yacht. Something a little bit more casual and durable. So this fabulous ring is set in 18-karat gold, which tightly winds around steel cables, and it's Force 10 because it can actually withstand a Force 10 wind when you be out sailing on your yacht.
Lots of questions from that. What kind of yacht would actually entice you? What kind of group would go out and dive straight into a Force 10? But secondly, in
Only
what circumstances do the people who already have too many baubles think, actually, I'm going to need some steel cabling when I'm out at sea?
Well, I don't know. It's super chic. It's fabulous. I mean, Fred Paris did rings, bangles, necklaces, and the most divine earrings. But sadly, we've sold them.
Okay, well, not sadly. Good business for Knightsbridge Rocks. Hurrah. Right, she's picking up another box, which is very beautiful.
It's the season to sparkle. And here we have a ring we call the Disco Ball. And Knightsbridge Rocks, Katie Kelly, says that when you place this ring in yellow gold, pink gold, white gold, and pave diamonds upon your finger, you turn into John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. The arms start moving, the hips wiggle. It's a disco ball, right?
Brenda Toohey, you haven't even put it on yet, and off we go. Oh, here she goes. Hang on. This isn't going to work for radio, but there we go. Have a dance.
I'm moving.
She really is. She moves so marvellously. Okay, so we have that for sparkles, and it's not small either. It's not an insignificant piece of jewellery. Okay, really lovely brooch coming up. No, a chain.
This is pretty special. It's a Roman coin. I think it's from 101 AD. It's surrounded by 18-karat gold in a rope twist and 4 beautiful natural emeralds. It's an Italian maker. It's pretty unusual. I would imagine it's a one-off piece, and it's here.
For you, everybody. Come down. And you, and everybody. And obviously the Monocle Christmas Market's on today here in Paris. It's also on in Tokyo and Toronto. No Knightsbridge Rocks there. Sorry about that. Yes. But if you're in London next week, you're packing up all the little boxes, putting them on the horse-drawn cart and traipsing them back to the United Kingdom.
Yes, and maybe next week we might have some reindeer on our sleigh.
I think these baubles might be a bit much for the reindeer. They might eat them. And those antlers can get a bit funny. What would you put on a reindeer?
Earrings. What
earrings.
Would I put on a reindeer? We need some earrings. Maybe 18-karat white gold and aquamarine. You know, I think reindeers, well, they wear a lot of stuff, don't they? Bells and jingles and ribbons and a harness. I don't want to weigh them down any further. So I'm thinking something quite light, sort of ice queen.
And actually, when you have all the bells and the
lovely for you.
they'd look very nice on me. Yes,
Blue eyes.
I know they would look really nice on me. Even I would never know. I haven't tried them on, but I know they will. Look, actually, everything on this table will look very, very nice on me, and will look very nice on everybody who's wearing it. Maybe when the reindeers have had their hard day with I don't know, plastic hats, they can all go and wear some dangly earrings. Is what you've now picked up.
Dangly earrings, all of them sapphires. So we've got yellow sapphires, orange, pink, blue, and more pink. Beautiful, interspersed with just a little diamond. They're long, they're dangly, they're elegant, they're colorful.
They'll take you to the dance floor and back again, won't they? And beyond.
I think they take you anywhere, yeah.
Brenda, what kind of people have we got coming through today at the Christmas market?
Super chic Parisians. What can I say? I mean, I just look like, by comparison. I mean, they're also chic. I've taken a lot of fashion notes. I think I need a little ivory knit hat, probably in cashmere, and I think an ivory coat, maybe with a little faux fur collar.
That was Brenda Toohey, Monocle's luxury markets editor and co-founder of jewelry brand Knightsbridge Rocks, speaking to Monocle's Emma Nelson. This is The Globalist. And finally, on today's show, because it is not only the festive season, but we're also gearing up for New Year's just 1 week away, it's time to talk about what to toast with. Yes, we are talking wines, mulled wines, sparkling wines, everything in between. And joining me for that is Monocle's digital sub-editor and resident wine expert, Chloe Lake. Chloe, great to have you on this show.
Hi, Chris. I love being on this show. It's always so much fun. It's a blast. So I'm very excited to get stuck into what we will be having today.
And you have been a regular on Monocle Radio, but I don't believe our globalist listeners have ever heard from you before. So introduce yourself a little, if you will. What makes you so fascinated by wine and where it comes from?
Well, hello, globalist listeners. I guess my wine journey starts maybe a few years back, maybe about 7 or 8 years. I was working at a champagne company at the time, didn't know too much about wine, and then I went on this tour of the underground caves and I thought, wow, this is really cool. And then I just kind of got roped into learning more and more about it on the job. And then from there I thought, well, I'll go and see what I can learn, and started going to wine bars and really experimenting with all the different regions and types of wines, and just got really invested in it from there, and then did a course. So yeah, it's kind of become my hobby, and I guess by proxy, now on the radio. So
absolutely, yeah. Exactly. You are now the expert by definition. You become our wine. I don't know what exactly we should call you. Our wine, a wine aficionado, I suppose.
Yes.
So we're going to start this festive season. This is when we're talking, and you wanted to start with maybe a bit of a history of wine at Christmas and the holidays?
Yeah, so I know that we have been speaking behind the scenes about Glühwein, which is...
I do want to get your take very much about Glühwein.
You do want to get my take?
Yes. 100%.
Well, I do have a take, and it's that I very much like it. I'm someone who likes kind of spiced, aromatic things and feeling very cozy and warm. So to me, I'm a big fan. It's never really about, I guess, the quality of the Glühwein. It's just there for good times. So I like it, if that's what you know.
It's not really for a connoisseur, is that what you're saying necessarily?
I guess so.
But there are lots of different Glühweins, which is part of what I love, going to a Christmas market in Austria or Germany. But then you also have like the Scandinavians do their version, Glögg. You have your mulled wine here. So, I mean, it has spread everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing a little bit of research before because I confess I didn't really know too much about the tradition before. And it's actually from the kind of Romans in the Middle Ages. They popularized it and they added spices to wine and heated it up because that was the only way of preserving it back then. So I found that really fascinating. And then as Christianity aligned with winter festivals such as Christmas, these warm spiced wines just became really entangled with the season, and then obviously now we're very enamored by this tradition, and it still continues.
That is very interesting. I had no idea as well where Glühwein goes back to. Have you ever tried to make any yourself?
I have never tried. I've had many very nice ones made by other people, but not myself.
We did want to talk about something else that is more in the English field, because wine here has been growing. It's becoming a thing. Has it really? Is it really here? Is English wine here?
Absolutely. It's so here. And it's been here for a really long time, contrary to kind of popular opinion. There was a guy in 1662, this English physician and scientist called Christopher Merritt, and he first documented the addition of sugar to produce sparkling wine in a paper about fermentation. So you're talking, 400 years ago, this was happening in the UK. And then 4 years later, this was obviously a really hot time for all of this to be kicking off. A man called John Rose wrote The English Vineyard Vindicated, which was a sort of testament to how amazing England can be at producing wines. So in 1666, he said of the climate, these natural, sweet, and benign showers, dews, and influences can impart both life and pregnancy to these noble plantations. I'm a big advocate for English sparkling. I think it's having a really amazing moment. A lot of big companies are coming over to the UK. We had Tattinger come over maybe about 5 years ago, and they're now releasing their first vintages. So there's a lot of commercial buy-in, but there are also a lot of smaller kind of family businesses doing it as well, which is amazing to see. And the wine that we'll be having today is really interesting because it's from London's first ever urban winery. So the grapes are grown in Sussex, but the actual wine is produced in London, which is really cool. So I'm hoping that you're going to like it.
Absolutely. Okay, so describe this wine for us. What have you brought?
So it is made from 100% Chardonnay. I always say that Chardonnay is like the chameleon of the wine world because it kind of depends on where you grow it. A lot of people say, I don't like Chardonnay. But then if you have it in a hotter climate, it will adapt to the hotter climate and taste a bit sweeter and more rounded. Whereas if you have it in a very cold climate, like England, for grapes that is, it will be more acidic, more kind of punchy, lemony. So it really does adapt, and it lends itself very well to a champagne style of wine.
That is very interesting to hear, Chloe, because I've got to make that admission right here for you that I am one of those people who's like, I don't really like Chardonnay.
Well, maybe you need to try the right Chardonnay.
Okay, well, pour us a little bit of this that we have.
I will do.
Oh, that's a good sound for everyone. I'm sorry that our listeners can't be a part of this moment. It is very special. Well, we're going to pour it here. Tell us the exact bottle here as well while you're doing this.
So the winery is called London Cru.
Mm-hmm.
And this specific bottle is the 2021 vintage Blanc de Blanc, it just means that it's the white of the white. So it's white wine made from white grapes, in this case, Chardonnay.
With a little bit of sparkle.
With a little bit of sparkle.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we have a little taste? Should we, as if this were New Year's and a week from now?
Absolutely.
I'll just say happy. Are we allowed to say, I feel like we're not allowed, are we allowed to say something before? The Germans are very superstitious about this, and you're not allowed to say Happy New Year before it's actually arrived. So I'm just going to say I wish you a good entry into the new year, Chloe.
Thank you, and you too.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice. Okay. But that's also, that's different from your traditional Chardonnay. I can see what you're saying about the change in style.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate in some ways that English wine is having a rise because a lot of it is due to climate change. What's happening in the UK at the moment is that the climate is the same as Champagne was in the 1970s. So as the world warms, we're getting to taste these great English sparklings, but it also means that Champagne is losing a little bit of that climate that it once had.
The climate is moving over here to the UK, but those in the UK will be happy about that.
Absolutely.
Chloe Lake, thank you very much for joining us today, and that's all the time we have for this edition of The Globalist. It was produced by Monica Lillis, and our sound engineer was Jack Dewars. There is a special edition of The Briefing coming up at midday London time. Tom Edwards brings you more holiday cheer for that. The Globalist returns at the same time tomorrow with a look at the year in design and hospitality. I'm Chris Chermak. Have a great Christmas day, goodbye, and thanks for listening.
With UBS, you have a truly global partner, incorporating new technologies, innovative approaches, and unexpected opportunities, leading you to insights that help answer the questions that matter, delivered with passion, care, and unmatched expertise. Because it's about rising with the dawn each day, knowing that we can do even better. That's what banking is to us. Not just work, but a craft. UBS. Advice is our craft.